Hello, everybody. Welcome back to What's Up with Trove. This is episode number 14. This week we're counting down. The countdown has begun. The countdown to what you might ask? Trove's launch, actually. We are now. Actually, let me bring up my. I should have had this up. There's a countdown on the blog, and I can't believe I didn't have it up. It is now roundabout, give or take, few hours, 10 days, 20 hours, and 2 minutes roughly until the launch of Trove. That is on the 7th of July. So we are edging ever so closer to that launch. It's awesome. I am super, super excited and super stoked to see what more players brings to Trove and how the devs react. This week, it's been a great week, actually. Doing a lot of work and a lot of that stuff, programming and everything. Challenges are actually, as much hate as everybody gives challenges, they are fantastic for me and my schedule. Because I can sit there away from keyboard and every hour turn to Trove, do a challenge, and then go back to what I was doing before. So I'm actually able to get a lot done in between Trove. So I've been playing a lot more of Trove than I thought I would be this week, which is great. Aside from doing the challenges, actually I got my dragon the other day, which is great. Fantastic mount. It's awesome. The elder drake, and it flies, and well, not flies, it glides. As Buzz Lightyear would say, it falls with style. And it shoots fireballs, and it's great for mining ore. Saves a ton of bombs. The only thing I wish that it could do is turn its head left and right, so I can actually breathe fire left, right, and up and down. But you can't ask for everything, and they are great, and I can see how that would be overpowered. So great mount and awesome to have. Hold on one second. My alarm is going off. Technical difficulties. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. Cool. Anyway, so as you can see behind me, no green screen this week. I went to an auction on Saturday last weekend, and it was a school auction, and they were selling a ton of school supplies, and there were a ton of charities there getting a bunch of stuff. Great for schools and everything. But they auctioned off a couple of projector screens, the kind of thing where you hook it up on the wall and you pull it down. And I managed to get a great size, perfect one. I actually picked up a couple of them because they were going for so cheap. I picked up a projector screen, and so I'm going to kind of hardwire it together with some tape and glue and whatnot, and make it into a roll down green screen and figure out where I can put it on my wall. So, which is great. So hopefully by next week I can have a green screen. But that's pretty much really been about it. Not really much else aside from all that other good stuff and auctions and whatnot. So pretty much quick. Let's go ahead and go into the news a little bit. And I'm working on some sounders. So this week there's not there is one, and it'll play at the end where it goes. But don't have a news bumper yet, so eventually it'll be there. The stress test. There was a stress test yesterday, actually, Thursday the 25th. And they said that if you log in, you would receive a flask token and some pinatas if you were level 30 or above mastery. So they didn't really make I don't really know how to word it too much, but they didn't state that it had to be manually. They have like a script, I guess, that they would run, and it would give everyone the rewards. And so they wanted to, instead of running it periodically throughout the day, give it to everyone at one time. So basically, they ran the stress test on Thursday. They said it went fantastic. and got all the data they needed. Servers were running great, actually better. Some people were reporting better FPS than normal. So that stress test did serve its job. So if you logged in at some point yesterday, you should be getting a reward probably within the next couple of days. Of if you're level 30 or higher mastery, 5 of the regular old school pinatas, as well as a flask token. And I think that was really it, which is great. I'll take anything free. It's awesome. I'm not going to complain at all. It's fantastic rewards, and everyone should be happy for those. If you don't receive your reward for playing during the stress test, or your gift, actually, it's more of a gift, not a reward. If you don't receive it and you should be eligible for it, just contact Trove support, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to sort you out. I know quite a few players are actually reporting that they're not receiving their gift, and they're working on getting that all fixed out and sorted. So with the update, we did get a patch, although not a major patch, which I'm not expecting any major updates until the launch of Trove. These next 10 days really are excruciatingly critical to make sure that the game doesn't break. And they're running like an internal build that's going to be launched with, and they're sorting out all kinds of errors. So they're working with that. So we got a decent little update though. The world map actually was overhauled in a way. It's every biome now has its own unique little icons. Like the grave zone. I can't think of the name of the zone off the top of my head, but it's got little skulls on it, and the forest biome has little trees on it, and it's really not only good for all of the players to be able to see and color coordinate the biomes. Now it's easier to find out which biome and where it is, get there faster for challenges, but it's also great for colorblind folk and people, because if you're colorblind, I can imagine how hard it was previously to navigate Trove's map, because there was no identifier except for knowing the colors. And if you can't see colors, it all just looks the same, and you just have to visualize it. And so that was a major change, and I'm sure it was very helpful for a lot of people. Great move on Trove's part. It does take a little bit to get used to, but I'm sure, just like the new UI that we received, I think it was last week, you'll get used to it, and it'll work out better for it in the end as well. And maybe in the future we might get an update to be able to toggle that off, make it optional. I don't know, because I know some people don't like it and some people do, so 50-50 roundabout. And we also got a new adventure chest. I think it was the dragon one. Dragon Adventures chest or something. I forget the name of it, but it had two of the Kami Dragon chest. That's what it was. That Kami with a K. That chest is gone, and we now have the new Adventurer's chest, and I didn't write down the name of it, but inside of it has not only the regular classic rewards, but it also has the 2 mounts in it. And I'm going to attempt to pronounce this here. The Paunchy Dragon Pup and the Prodigal Paraditor. They're both dragon mounts. The Dragon Pup is this adorably awesome, almost like if you think of classic cartoons when somebody sucks in a bunch of helium and they inflate and just get really big. It's like a little mini, like the oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of it now. I lost it. The dragon class, the Dracolite. His little minion. It's like he sucked in a bunch of helium, and then you jump on him and ride him around like a little bouncy ball. It's the cutest thing ever, and I love it. It's great. More mounts, the better. And the Prodigal Predator. Predator? Something. It's a modified skin of the classic raptor, and it's a green dragon, and it floats, and it looks really cool, really great. Great job to the modders that created those. Definitely deserve to be in the game, and they are fantastic. Now we also received some challenge adjustments. Last week, at the end of the show, if you stayed through to the newest segment that we have where we talk about the live stream, they did give us a heads up on this change. Basically, what happened is we were getting too many cages per hour. I think we were getting 13 or 14. And that's if you got all 3 tier bonuses for the challenges. So now they lowered the tier 3 and tier 4 rewards. So now as you work your way through your tiers of points, at tier 1 you'll receive 2 cages. For completing tier 2, you receive 2 more cages. Tier 3, you receive 3 cages. And tier 4, you'll receive 4 cages, or 3 cages, for a grand total of 10 cages. So it's a slight nerf. We did not get the flux nerf that everybody was assuming we would get along with that. So fantastic for that, and great. So just a few less cages per hour, which isn't too bad. It's only 3 or 4 less per hour, so it's not too bad. You just have to farm a little bit longer to get your dragon mounts. But those will be, I think, monthly or every other month or so long. They said that they'd be around in between for a decent amount of time, plenty of time for you to farm it, and there will eventually be a way, they're still working on it internally, to get the previous dragon rewards and still be able to get them afterwards. So if when they do decide to take away this dragon mount and you haven't gotten it yet, you'll still have a chance to get it eventually, which is awesome. It's great. It shows that Trove is thinking of the players as well, which is great. I love it. Awesome. I'm in a great mood today. It's really bizarre. It's Friday. That's why. It's a weekend. Woo! Well, if you're listening to it today on the release day, Friday. Woo! Also, they have added in the fix for leechers. If you don't know what a leecher is, it's basically someone that follows the herd of people running through Uber 6 and sitting on top of the towers and doing nothing, not contributing, just following and getting loot. Basically, they made it so that if you are not the minimum required level to get into that Uber, you will not receive cages and points for the challenge. And if I'm not mistaken, you won't receive experience for the dungeons as well. I can't confirm that because I'm not 100% certain on that one. I might have to go in game and try and see if it works eventually and see if that happens. Or if someone can confirm it, let me know. But as far as I know, you will not receive experience or cages for not being the minimum level to get in. So for, I think it's Uber 6, you have to be level 36 to get into. If you're not level 36, you're not going to receive rewards, which is great. Previously, to get the challenge bonus, people, and I'm not ashamed to say this, I did it as well, is you'd take your whatever class was the challenge bonus and just follow people around and leech. I think a lot of people used it, and it's fine because it didn't really hurt anyone. So it's not too bad. It's been fixed now, and so it still doesn't stop leeching, but now it gives people not much of an excuse for leeching. I mean, if you're just going to sit there and not contribute, then why be there, I guess? At least if you're high enough level to receive the rewards, you should be high enough to help out, and it's just sheer laziness now. So I don't leech anymore. It's not worth it. It can only help to go and fight the boss. Even if you die, you still get the reward. So also, and some awesome advice is if you have a character that is high enough to get into that challenge, don't forget gear in this game can be used on other characters. So if you have a knight who can get in and do the Uber 6s for challenge rewards, and the class happens to be the Boomeranger, and your Boomeranger, if he puts on your knight's gear and he's high enough level to get the rewards, boom, you have a Boomeranger who can get the rewards and swap the gear back and forth. I'm doing that actually a lot with my knights, with all my melee classes. I still don't have a staff or anything that's radiant, but it's a great way to get your cages and still get that bonus and still be able to help out, because if you're high enough level, you should be helping. So also this week, we got a major loot buff. That's right, a buff with a B. We got an awesome change. Weapons will now drop based off of the class you play. So if you play, excuse me, hold on one second. Sorry about that. My lips were getting very dry. So anyway, loot now drops based on the class you play. So what I mean by that is weapons in specifics. If you're playing on a knight, only weapons for the knight will drop, which means swords. If you're playing on a boomeranger, then swords and bows will drop. If you're playing on the Dracolite, then staves will drop. Staves. And if you're playing on the new Necromancer class, then staves will drop. Hint, hint. So it's great. You'll get loot for the class you're playing. It makes it easier to farm for gear for other classes. It's just a great change. And on top of great changes, Magic Find is now able to work when you do not have Magic Find on. What I mean by that, and that as I said that, it sounded very confusing. Basically, if you have no Magic Find, you're still going to have a base level of Magic Find. Basically, it has a chance to happen even without having Magic Find, which means that you can proc a 2-star, a 3-star shadow, bonus shadow, whatnot, without having any Magic Find. So even if you've died, you can still receive a Magic Find bonus. It's great. Awesome change. Nothing wrong with that at all, because we love loot. Loot is what this game is about. Loot and grinding. And the more loot we get, the better the rewards are and all that other awesome jazz. So we also got a bunch of bug and polish fixes, which I'm not really going to go into. It's just a bunch of minor stuff. You can check out the patch notes in full on Trove's website. There's also a link in the show notes as well. In the store news, something new came out called deals. Basically, the more deals will excuse me here. Deals will scale based on how many patron points you have. If you don't know how to check your patron points, you can go into your badge tab by, I think it's I, or going into your mount tab or whatever, and then going into the badges tab, and then looking down for the badges based off of your patron points. And if you highlight over that, it tells you how many patron points you actually have. So deals will scale with patron points. So one thing to keep in mind about these deals is then they may not make it to launch. They may or may not. They are in experiment mode, which is what beta is for. So they're experimenting with it. But basically, what the deal is as your every, I think it's 16 hours or twice a day or something, somewhere around there. Math numbers. You will receive deals okay. Deals are bonuses that you get for buying Cubans. There we go. It's so much easier to say that. It was going crazy in my head. So basically, you receive a bonus based on how many patron points you have, and then your deal is randomized based on how many credits you buy. So, for example, based off of my patron points on my account, I received the ability to, if I bought $20 in credits, I'd receive 5 free pinatas. Or if I spent $5 on credits, I'd get some fishing lure. Or if I was awesome enough to spend $100 on Trove, I'd get shadow pinatas. And those change. They're randomized every day. They're changing, and they scale based on your patron points. Very weird, because it seems that there's a low end and a high end for the rewards, and not really much of an in-between. It goes from fishing lures to pinatas. and something called a Instagrower. I'm not quite certain what it is. I think it just Instagrows your crops. So I guess that's useful, but I'm not really one for gardening, so that reward isn't for me personally. If you're a big gardener, I guess I can see the want in Instagrowers. But like I said, it may not happen with launch. They may take it out and revise it and fix it. The other thing is something called, I think it's like a wooden cage or a wooden chest or something, and that's very unknown how it works. But every once in a while, when you log in, you'll get the ability to, from the store, get a free chest that has stuff in it. By stuff, apparently it's supposed to scale with your patron points, but it hasn't been made official how it scales. Because I got 5 seeds or something. It wasn't much at all. It wasn't a very big reward. So I have a feeling that when we get to launch, they will take this out and revise it and bring it back later. But for now, we're still in beta. They're testing it to see how it works, and it does work in theory. It just doesn't seem very well working now. It's a cool idea, and I hope that they expand on it soon. Also, a big change is the starter pack, the one that comes with the boot, the night boot, I think, and some other miscellaneous transmoggy style stuff and a mount, I think. That is now only available for 8 days after a new player joins the game. So this starter pack is no longer able to. By the time you hear this episode, at least, it will no longer be able to be obtained by veteran players. So it's good. It's great. Every free to play game has a starter pack, and this is Trove's. It's great. I think it's only $5, so I highly recommend that to anybody thinking about playing Trove or playing Trove and getting into it. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the news for this week. And yeah, it's great. We're getting much closer to launch every single day, and I think every day at least a minor hotfix or something goes out to improve the quality of the game. So I mean, they're getting there. It's great, and I can't wait to see what happens when Trove launches. Fantastic, wonderful, and yeah, so good luck to the developers if you're listening. I will be sleeping, and I hope eventually you guys get to get some rest. I hope eventually, at least soon. Sleep well. Sleep well you must, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anyway, so weekly discussion this week. Not really much. It's just advice, and I guess really it's been sprinkled in throughout the entire episode, is just don't give up on Trove. Don't give up on the developers. There's a ton. I can count more than the fingers on my hands, including thumbs, how many people have said I quit, this game is terrible, excuse my language, Trove sucks, blah, 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 blah. Give them a chance. Right now, it's beta. And there are expected bugs, and the bugs will happen, lag will happen, and glitches will happen. It's just beta. And they're working on it, they're fixing it, and they're, like I said a second ago, they're getting better every single day. They're changing it, they're fixing things, they're listening to the players. Instead of maybe just saying on the forums, I quit, this is terrible, tell them why you want to quit, and give them a reason to change it and fix it. It's just not helpful to say I quit and then I'm done. Tell them why, explain to them, and help them fix why you're quitting. I mean, it is insane to just say I quit and then be done. At least give them a good reason why you're quitting. Excuse me. So yeah, it's just nonsense. It's not really needed. And remember, once again, we're beta. And even though launch is 2 weeks away, even though launch is 10 days away and a couple hours, it's still in beta. They still have that tag. So there can be expected glitches, bugs. And there's also something called an internal launch client, I think it is. Something around that terminology. They used it, I think, in last week's stream, which is basically what they have to give to Steam and say this. They're going to take that client. They're going to say, Steam, this is our game, put it on the game. And we haven't seen everything that that client has to offer yet. They're still tweaking, they're still fixing, and they're still working. It's still being fixed. Like I said, beta. It's going to be fixed. It's going to get better. But it's only going to get better if you help them by telling them how they can fix what they've done wrong. So yeah. Also, just a tip, this week in their stream today, a hint was dropped by Avram, the man, the truth, the legend himself, said that make sure that by Trove's launch, you are mastery level 30 or above. He didn't say what for, and even though he was asked, they didn't say anything. But I have a really awesome sense that those are going to be the beta rewards, privileged items. Quote, privileged items. Alpha got a few, so it only seems awesome that Trove would give beta players also exclusive rewards. I'm personally hoping for a unique weapon skin with a unique VFX effect. That'd be awesome. I don't know how hard it is to code or put that into the game or make it exclusive or whatnot. That's just me. I have a dream. That would be awesome to have my own unique VFX skin for my character saying, hey, I was in alpha, I was in beta. It'd be cool. If you're listening, hint, hint. So yeah, not really a huge weekly discussion. But yeah, so this week's community spotlight goes to Trove Toolbox. Basically, they are a mod loader for Trove. That's how you custom put your mods into the game, and you can send your mod to other players. They can use the mod loader toolbox to play it in game on live and check it out and see it in game and send it hype. And if Trove catches onto it, they put it into the game if they want to. Basically, they received a massive overhaul and have now made it easier and much more accessible. They partnered up, the creators of the toolbox partnered up with Trovesaurus, and basically Trovesaurus has a spot on their forums for mods. What the toolbox does is it links in with the mods on Trovesaurus, and you just say, I want that mod, and it grabs it, pulls it down from Trovesaurus, and puts it in your Trove client. Previously, you had to deal with zip files and all that other crazy stuff, and you still have to deal with zip files if you want a mod that's not on Trovesaurus, but if the mod you want is on Trovesaurus, it'll just grab it, pull it down, put it in your Trove folder, it'll be good to go. And if you don't want to load it, you either don't load the toolbox, or you just tick it off and say, I don't want that mod this time. It's great. I've tried it out, actually. Hold on here. I hope I don't break this. Let's see. Am I still recording? I think I am. Sweet. Okay, so wait, no, I think I broke it. Oh, no, wait. There it is. Hey, cool. Okay, so if you're watching the video stream, this is Trove Toolbox. Basically, this is the kit. I have, for example, the Mushi the Fox on here. Tick it off if I want it to show, and untick it if I don't want it. You can browse the mods. There's tons and tons of mods already in here. Meet John, Scootaloo, Twerking Sparkle, Twilight Sparkle, just listing off a ton of different names. So yeah, definitely check that out. There's a link in the show notes, and yeah, so check that out. Give it a download if you're into the modding community, or just want to check out mods, hype them up, and just check it out. It's great and it's awesome. Yeah, so check that out. That's the community spotlight. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the info for the show, but I'm not done yet. There's another segment at the end of the show, but I don't want to spoil anything for people who don't want to be spoiled, because I totally understand. I don't like to be spoiled for stuff sometimes. Trove, I like to be spoiled because I like to know ahead of time what's coming. So quickly here, if you want to get a hold of me, you can find me on Twitter at Alan91330. You can find me in-game or on the forums as Tiny. You can email the show at whatsupwithtrove@gmail.com. And the show notes are also located at whatsupwithtrove.blogspot.com. Excuse me, I'm getting crackly here again. Um, so yeah, and the music at the top of the show is brought to you by Ben Sound. And I'm also on SoundCloud and Stitcher, and I'm still working on iTunes. I haven't had a chance to figure out why iTunes doesn't want me on there. So that's pretty much it. If you don't want spoilers, that's the end of the show, and I will see those guys next week. But stick around, and I'm going to play a nice little sounder.
Marty! You've got to come back with me! Where? Back to the future!
That's right, Doc. I kind of prematurely played that there, but it works. So yeah, we're going to talk about the future of Trove, as the Doc said. So basically this week on the stream, and remember, spoilers, last chance to get out if you don't want to be spoiled on what we're going to talk about here. So this week on the Trove Tryon Worlds stream, and all of this stuff can be found also on a recap as well at some point later on in the week. You can watch it and see everything or some of the stuff that I talk about in this segment, and on their Trove stream. And there's also a post on the forums as well, and there's a link in the show notes to the summary for the Trove stream. But what I really want to focus on today, and we got a teeny tiny sneak preview last week, is the Tomb Raiser. We got a bunch more details on the Tomb Raiser. Okay. So yeah, we got a bunch of new details on the Tomb Raiser. It is the Necromancer class, and it does fight with minions. So they said that the mouse one, the left click, is your basic attack, and it damages enemies and heals your minions. The mouse 2 button will actually summon a little skeleton, and he's adorable. And I can't wait to see the modding community go wild with this, because there's just tons and tons of possibilities to go with this. It uses a similar model to the chickens. So if somebody in the modding community wants to make a farmer Tomb Raiser with chicken minions, you would be my new best friend. I would love you forever. Forever. So yeah, your mouse ability, or your mouse 2 ability, your right click summons a little skeleton to fight with you. And actually, if you dance and do /dance, they will dance with you. It's adorable and awesome. Your first skill, your 1 or whatever you have it bound to, will turn you into what I'm calling ghost form. Basically, it turns you into a ghost, and you kind of get a see-through kind of skin look, very similar to how you get when you get into build mode. But anyway, it turns you into a ghost, and your basic attack becomes an AoE. And what happens while you're in ghost form is your energy drains, and when your energy hits 0, it leaves that form and returns you back to your human form. As well as if you use a potion, it will apparently keep you in the form longer. So just a nice way to tie in those. And then your ultimate is going to be a mega minion, which consumes all of your active minions and summons a giant mega minion. Now there is no confirmed cap to minions or the giant mega minion. So, and they didn't really go into too much detail. They just gave us another awesome taste, more detail, and told us all the skills. They didn't go into stats. But I'm going to go ahead and assume, and don't blame me if I'm wrong here, but giving people kind of a heads up to be able to get some gear ready is, I'm thinking it's going to be health, and then energy regen, and then maybe attack speed. They did not say if attack speed would increase your attack speed or not. It could be the same case as the Dracolite, where attack speed is useless. So, I mean, you don't know until then, but we do know 100% for sure that they use staffs and magic damage. So, and also they gave a very sneak peek of the level 100 plus mastery rewards, and they said they are coming and they're working on it. And then they showed off a giant golden dragon and said it's coming. So it's assumed that somewhere in between level 100 and 200 mastery that you will receive a golden flying dragon. They also showed off a bunch of tooltip icons for golden mounts, so tons and tons of mastery rewards coming as well. And so, like I said, you can catch their live stream on Fridays, twitch.tv/tryonworlds. It's great, and they give away carpets, and they give away mounts and stuff, and every 1,000 people that they have in the chat room active, they give away a chaos coin. So it's great. It's great fun. If you have a chance to catch it, it's a sight to see, and it's awesome. They do a great job. So there's a mosquito flying around in my room. So that's pretty much going to be it. Yeah, that's pretty much going to be the show this week. So if you guys are still hanging around, thanks so much for watching and listening. And all the info for the podcast as well is not only stated a couple seconds ago, but also on the patch notes. Check out the patch notes. There's also an active timer as well, a countdown timer for Trove's official launch. That's also on there. So check that out there. And I think that's really going to be it. I will see you guys next week. And let the countdown begin. I'm for the up and coming necromancer. I guess you could say I'm dying for launch. And there's a show title for you. All right, I will see you guys next week or in game. And yeah, so have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys around.